All right, let me ask you something. Imagine you have everything. A great family, wealth, respect, the whole shebang. And then, in a single day, it's all gone. How would you react? Well, today we're going to explore that exact scenario through the incredible story of a man named Job. It's a story that reveals a really powerful way to think about gratitude and where everything we have actually comes from. So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to meet Job, this man who had it all. Then we'll see his entire world fall apart, which sounds grim, I know, but it's key to understanding his amazing perspective. From there, we'll get practical and talk about how we can cultivate that same kind of gratitude and why it's such a powerful cure for, complaining. Okay, first things first. To really feel the weight of what Job lost, you have to understand just how good he had it. We're going to meet him at the absolute peak of his life.
Now get this, before we even hear about his money or his status, the story makes a point to tell us about his character. He wasn't just a rich guy, he was a good guy. And that's absolutely crucial, because it tells you his identity wasn't wrapped up in his stuff.
And his blessings, they were huge. It started with a big, vibrant family, 7 sons and 3 daughters. Then there was his wealth, which, for that time, was just on another level. He had 7,000 sheep. And wait for it, 3,000 camels. Not to mention hundreds of oxen and donkeys and a huge staff of servants. We are talking about mind-boggling prosperity. This title pretty much says it all, doesn't it? He wasn't just a rich guy, he was the guy, the greatest. So Job is at the absolute top of the world. He has everything anyone could ever want. Remember that, because the fall is about to be fast and hard.
So we've seen the high point, this seemingly perfect life. Now we're going to watch the moment it all comes crashing down.
And then, just like that, it was gone. In one catastrophic day, a series of messengers brings one piece of horrific news after another. His livestock, his servants, and then, the most devastating blow of all, every single one of his children. Everything. Wiped out. The speed of it is just hard to even wrap your head around.
And this is the moment the whole story pivots on. Instead of cursing God, instead of screaming about how unfair it all is, Job's first reaction is to worship. He gets this fundamental truth. What was given can be taken away by the one who gave it. It's just a shocking, incredible response.
And the trials weren't over. You'd think that would be enough, right? But after losing everything he owned and everyone he loved, Job's own health is taken. He's covered in painful sores. And yet, even in that intense physical agony, he holds on. He refuses to blame God.
So you have to ask yourself, how is that even possible? What allows a person to respond to that kind of suffering with worship? Well, it's not just about having a strong will. It's about having a deep-seated worldview, what we can call the giver's perspective. At the heart of it all is this idea of divine providence. It's the belief that everything we have, our job, our house, our family, even our own body, it isn't really ours. It's all a gift, on loan to us from God. Because Job saw everything as a gift to begin with, he could still bless the giver even when the gifts were gone.
This verse just nails that idea perfectly. We show up with nothing and we leave with nothing. When you really let that sink in, it helps you detach your self-worth from the things you're holding on to. We're just managers, not owners.
Okay, so if we accept that everything is a gift, what do we do about it? How do we give back? The source suggests 3 things. First, by working on ourselves, growing in character. Second, by giving financially based on what we've received. And finally, by dedicating our whole lives in service.
Now, this all sounds really good in theory, right? But how do we actually live like this, especially when life gets messy and things aren't going our way? Let's get really practical and talk about what it looks like to build a habit of gratitude. So let's be honest for a second. When you face your own trials, big or small, a bad day at work, a health scare, a conflict, what's your default response? Is it to get frustrated, angry, or is there another way? The source suggests a really simple but powerful discipline. First, make it a daily habit. Find 3 specific things to be thankful for. Second, consciously make Thanksgiving a part of your prayers. And third, and this is the real challenge, try to reframe even the bad stuff to find something, anything, to be grateful for in the middle of it.
And these don't have to be big, spectacular things. It can be as simple as just being thankful you woke up to a new day. Or, like the source suggests, maybe you fall down but don't break a bone. You can be thankful it wasn't worse. Maybe your kid is struggling in a class but improves a little. You can be thankful for the progress, not just perfection. It's all about shifting your focus.
Now, this whole practice of gratitude isn't just about feeling better. It serves a really important purpose. It's a direct antidote to a very different and very human reaction, what the Source calls murmuring, basically chronic complaining. Let's look at the difference. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the ancient Israelites in the desert. God rescues them, and what do? They complain, constantly. That mindset questions God's plan. On the other side, you have Job, who trusted God's bigger picture even when it was incredibly painful. Murmuring is like putting yourself in the driver's seat. Thankfulness acknowledges who the true giver is.
Yeah, the Source really doesn't pull any punches here. It says that when we murmur, we're basically telling God we know better. We're putting ourselves in His place and trying to tell Him how the universe should be run. It's a real challenge to our own ego, isn't it?
And it all comes back to this one fundamental truth. And this quote really distills the entire perspective down into 5 simple words. It's about realizing our total dependence. And that's the real foundation for a life of gratitude instead of complaint. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If we really truly believe that everything is a gift, our career, our family, our health, our possessions, what's that one thing in your life that you're holding on to with a white-knuckled grip? What would it feel like to loosen that grip, just a little, and hold it with an open hand instead?